so if we step away from mental toughness now and we talk about, and you mentioned this a little bit, but let's go a little bit more in depth about this. Setting goals, the idea of setting goals in particular. And when you answer this, I want to sort of focus on how to make the goals achievable. Okay, so give us your thoughts on that.
Well, making goal achievables is first realizing your capabilities and where you are and your starting point. You have to really assess your situation and where you're at, and really be honest with yourself. It always comes back to being honest with yourself. And if you suck, just say you suck. And if you're fat and out of shape, just admit you're fat and out of shape, and know where to start. And then once again, setting goals is you have to see if this is the actual goal for you, and pick and start small and pick maybe one or two goals. Maybe your goal would just be, hey, I'm gonna get out of bed at 5 a.m. and make my bed, and I'm just gonna sit there. And that could be like the gateway goal to next waking up, and then being able to run 6 miles. Or I'm gonna wake up every morning. Or some people say like, hey, I want to try to lose 50 pounds. How about you at least start just cut out soda out of your diet for now. Tangible goals will lead to tangible results, and being patient, understanding that whatever situation you are in, it didn't happen overnight. So the goals that you're going to set is not going to happen overnight either. You didn't get here in one day, and you're not going to solve this problem in one day.
For sure, man. I love tangible goals gives tangible results. But here's something that I struggle with when talking to students, or talking to my kids, or talking to other people, whatever. So I have this belief, okay, my own personal belief. I have this belief that I can attain anything, right? Because I believe this is like, it's like a computer program. I can program the computer, right? And it may mean that I require an exorbitant amount of work, or maybe it means that I require a little amount of work. It depends on what the goal is. But I have this belief that I can attain anything. But you mentioned something there that I do struggle with, because you have to realize where people are starting from, right? So can you speak to how do you reconcile the ideas of, okay, I have to have attainable goals. I have to be honest with myself about what I am and what I can attain. But then again, this idea of I can do anything if I put my mind to it.
Yeah, so I believe like that idea of I could do anything. That's almost like a mindset of powering through and never giving up on what you're gonna set out to do. But attaining those small goals is gonna give you confidence in yourself to know that you could accomplish bigger goals. So you kind of have to build yourself from the ground up. The little goals in the end will end up with a winning mindset, knowing that, hey, I could accomplish anything. And then when you start looking back at the small goals, those are some of the small goals that you thought were hard to do. Like, hey, I could never quit smoking. I could never cut soda out of my diet. I never thought I would start working out. And when you look back at it, like, this ain't shit. I'm doing this daily now. And that's going to give you the confidence to accomplish the bigger goals that what I could do now in the future. When I started working out, I would never think that I would be doing, 500 burpees with ease or anything like that. I remember as a kid struggling to do like 5 push-ups with scrawny arms, but yet I always kind of had the mindset of like, I could still do it. I always believed in yourself. It's one thing to believe in yourself, but then one thing to bring back to reality, understand where you could accomplish and what you could accomplish. And I think that's that fine balance of being realistic, but also having long-term and short-term goals. I think there has to be a difference in it as well. Long-term, yes. Short-term, you're living in the present, and every day you got to work on it.
All right. Now, I'm going to move. I had another question for you, but one of the viewers asked, they would like to know if you had a mentor early on in the Marines that showed you the way, or did you just kind of find this path on your own?
I did have a mentor, but not for physical fitness.
Okay.
I did have a mentor for guidance and how to be a good leader and how to treat Marines. And what I learned was one of the most important things is that everything is a people business. It's how you it's how you address people and how you talk to people and how you act around people and how you carry yourself and it's what's gonna attract other people to you. So that's kind of where I learned that leadership was really important. And he always said to me, and I don't think I don't have an ego. I try not to have an ego, and I don't think myself as this great leader. But he told me, he said, you have something that people are attracted to you because you're just a hard worker. He said you're not the he told me, he said you're not the smartest guy. He said you're not the most charismatic guy.
Don't worry, I'm not the smartest, the most charismatic either,
Well,
brother.
it's fine. But he told me, he said that hard work is what's gonna attract people to you because it's something that people strive for. It's the working man that they like. It's the guy that wakes up every day and just puts his head down and plows through and doesn't get distracted. And in the end, that stuff is going to persevere. So that's kind of the mindset that I took away from him as a young Marine. And I already knew I wasn't the smartest guy, and I knew I wasn't like the best, but I knew I would never be at work because that's something I could control. I would stay after, and I would do more push-ups and pull-ups. I would be the guy that when they released everybody, I would try to hit another mile run. And before we had to go and change over, I would cut my personal time to be just a little bit better than the other guy, just because I knew that's something I could control. And I don't want to be comfortable. And I knew, like, they're not doing it, I'm doing it, so I'm getting better.
Most definitely, man. And so two points before I move on. So number one, that what you talked about with the discipline and the desire to grind, that is what drew me to you. And I would not say that I am anywhere near. I don't have the stamina that you do, but I can tell you one thing is that I do appreciate persistence and dogged determination, man. And the first video of yours that I saw was the 500 Navy SEALs, and I'm like, get the fuck out. No, 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 no. I got to watch this, right? And I was like, okay, like for me, that has a worth, a value to it more than so many other things, man. Like the money, the fame, all of that. The fact that you would gut that out, I'm like, all right, I can respect that. So that's point number one. Point number two is I love what you said about the small goals, setting up the bigger goals later on. And people have to realize the way that you climb a mountain is one step at a time. And all of those small goals, if you were going to build a house, man, you don't build a house on sand, you build a house on a solid foundation. And all of those small goals make up the foundation upon which you build the bigger goals later on. And people kind of lose sight of that, right? Because they think, I'm going to do this thing. And yeah, you know what? You can do that thing, but back up a second. Let's see what we need to do to get us to set ourselves into a position where we can do those things, right? So I think that's amazing.